This can set someone up for falling into narcissistic relationships of all kinds in adulthood. Competitiveness. Toxic and narcissistic parents tend to be highly competitive with their children, which can manifest as a pattern of jealousy, particularly as the child becomes older and they are in competition with their child. Even when their children are young, toxic parents may grow resentful that their child is garnering more attention than they are receiving, or may push their children to fight or try harder. This can play out in a number of ways, including frank competition with the child, actually trying to be better at the thing the child is doing or reflecting on their glory days of that particular activity, playing down the child's accomplishments. Back in my day, it was much more difficult to win at one of these competitions, not showing up to a competition or performance, or leaving the room when the child's achievements are being discussed. Paradoxically, it is often toxic or narcissistic parents who shunt the child into the single-minded pursuit of excellence in a particular activity. And yet, it is also their inability to get their own ego out of the way that blocks them from praising their child's efforts. The child may be praised only when he or she wins and never recognized for effort unless it culminates in a win. The narcissistic parent may be covetous or jealous, a pattern that can persist through their relationship with their child. The effect on the child is commonly guilt at outshining the parent or making the parent feel uncomfortable. In some cases, there is also resentment, but guilt is often the leading emotion here, and can even make the child ambivalent about his or her achievements. This can present as self-sabotage to avoid winning or discomfort with winning, which can ultimately manifest in adulthood as an inability to own accomplishments or the feeling of survival's guilt. They may look humble, but the humility is often a frank denial of their achievements. Finally, children raised under these circumstances may experience significant anxiety and also become physically ill before a competition, as well as experience a loss of love of the game because the entire process has become so co-opted by the competitive needs of the parent. For these children, holidays and birthdays are often ruined because a toxic parent cannot endure other people receiving attention, or people are not behaving precisely as they want during the family gathering. How does this play out into adulthood? In adults, this bizarre parental competition can actually become even more heightened. If you do actually wind up having greater success than your parent, he or she may still criticize it and devalue the quality of your career, home, or objects. If your spouse is kind and loving or different than in the relationship you had with your parent, the parent may denigrate your spouse or your marriage. Narcissistic parents are threatened by their adult children's accomplishments or joys and minimize them, trivialize them, or take responsibility for them. Sadly, people with toxic or narcissistic parents often will keep trying to please them and impress them, whether that is purchasing them gifts, big or small. I have heard about people who did have significant success and went so far as to purchase the toxic parent a home or a car, only to have the parent complain about the features or location, and the adult child looked as devastated as a small child whose parents may have mocked a drawing that he or she made. Many people report that the competitive parent ruined their wedding day because the parent encroached upon the arrangements as though it was his or her big day, and found it difficult to tolerate the adulation heaped upon the bride or groom, or because a narcissistic parent needed to ensure it was a big enough show to outshine other family members. This competitive dynamic can also result in feelings of guilt, especially if the child's life or outcomes far surpass that of the competitive narcissistic parent. Instead of being able to enjoy well-earned accomplishments or even just lucky twist of fate, there can be a sense of guilt that pervades all successes. Toxic parent can cast a long shadow, rage. Parenting is difficult, and even on the best day for the best parent, it can be frustrating. Since toxic or narcissistic people do not tolerate frustration or disappointment in any form, parenting can be a disaster for them. as there is a propensity for terrifying rage in the face of normal parenting moments. The rage can be targeted at anyone, and at times, the rage is unrelated to the child's behavior, but may be a manifestation of other issues in the parent's day, including relationship problems, work difficulties, or just being something in the narcissistic parent's life that did not go the way he or she wanted. Parental rage may manifest as loud screaming, cruel insults, "You ruined my life," throwing objects, unreasonable and disproportionate punishments, physical violence, or storming away without letting the child or others know where they are going or when they will return. Effect on the child. It is terrifying to grow up with a rageful parent. It foments a sense of unpredictability, and the child will often wind up spending their childhood walking on eggshells to ensure that they do not contribute to the likelihood of an explosive anger, explosive rage, or that they get out of the way of one. This can also communicate and model to the child that dysregulation is acceptable and can contribute to a sense of fear. There is much excellent work in writing on child abuse, and this is not meant to be an overview of these issues, as they are beyond the scope of this book.
If you keep watching this series and thinking, something here feels uncomfortably familiar, that is your discernment waking up. The next step is not another video. It is clarity. The Decision Audit Toxic Parent Edition can provide that clarity. This audit helps you decide whether to keep full contact, limit contact, or step back from a toxic parent, based on evidence, not guilt. You are not deciding how to treat them. You are deciding how much access they get to you. Download the Decision Audit Toxic Parent Edition today. Link in bio.